lie in state at the Capitol. Hundreds of lawmakers, they packed the hallways to remember him, the late Oversight Committee chairman, and also one of the Democratic Party's most influential figures. At such a tumultuous time here with American politics, just to celebrate him, all that he did, the people who remembered him. And when you think about how far we have come, to see someone who looks like us, lying in state, with so many other people sitting back, giving him respect, the people who remembered him in his city, those who were in Baltimore, his family, lawmakers, who didn't look like us, who gave him that respect. That's something to remember today. And when I think about what happened just up the road 100 miles, and when I think about what's happening here in our own capital city, recognizing and looking at our youth, that alone, whatever you're doing, just stop, put your hands together, let's celebrate each other for all that what we are doing, the way we are doing, and those who we are here to celebrate this evening. Is that good stuff? Good stuff. By the way, my name is Sheila Bell. They call me the Bell. You may hear me on Radio 1. You may also see the Bell Report. You may also see me on Faith on Fridays on Channel 12. I get around a little bit, and I thank God for that platform, because regardless of where you are, if you can celebrate and talk about God freely, that is something to celebrate. We're going to keep things moving, because I believe just about everybody is here or en route to come, but we're going to have a musical selection by Miss Kathy Ara Washon. Please welcome her as she comes at this time with a beautiful selection.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good.
All right.
I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. River running free, you know how I feel. Blossoms on the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good.
Look at you.
Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done, that's what I mean. And this old world is a new world and a bold world for me.
That's right. All right.
Stars when you shine, you know how I feel. Scent of the pine, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I feel so good. I'm feeling good.
Today, I was thinking about, because when you hear songs like that, it takes you to a certain place. I went to Harriet, the movie that's going to be coming out November 1. And I saw the trailer, I saw clips of this movie, and I saw the fight, I saw the struggle, I saw the drive, I saw the commitment, I saw the determination, and I saw the new day and the new dawn that Harriet was able to bring to so many people's lives. It's going to be a new dawn and a new day, not only when we see that movie, but what happens here today on this first annual fall celebration and fundraiser for Policy Pathways. This is going to be an amazing day, an amazing afternoon, and I'm gearing you up because what we're going to be asking for you in just a little while, I hope that you all are going to be just as excited as I am. Is that all right? All right, I'm also gearing you all up because coming to us next is a very good friend of mine. And if you know this man, you have to stop and smile. Because he's a great man in his own right. He knows how to speak to crowds of people. He has such a humility. He also is very humorous. But he's also a man who loves God. Please show your love as he comes at this time, the senior pastor of Fifth Baptist Church, 1415 West Carey Street, Reverend Dr. Earl M. Brown. I love him so much.
Shall we bow? Unto thee, O God, we give thanks. Unto thee we give praise. Unto thee, O Heavenly Father, we give our every being. As we gather here this evening in this place for the purpose of further helping to educate tomorrow's policy leaders today, we pray for each one who has gathered here and for the purpose that we are here. And we pray that we can expand this idea and the ideals of this policy pathway incorporated. We ask, oh God, thy blessings upon those young people, the future but also the present, because as they presently mold their lives, they need role models, they need persons, oh Heavenly Father, who will show them the way in life. And this organization helps to educate them. We pray, oh God, that they will be successful and show their worth throughout the city, throughout the Commonwealth, throughout this country, and also throughout the world. As we raise funds tonight, oh God, we pray that our wallets, our checkbooks, and whatever may come in the future monetarily be of great means and of great help to these young people. In thy name we pray. Amen. Amen.
We can get a better amen than that.
Amen.
Amen. I'm a church girl.
Yes.
Amen. At this time, we will have the welcome be brought to us by Dr. Delta R. Bowers, Board of Directors, Treasurer, Policy Pathways. She's coming. Let's give her some love.
Good evening, all distinguished guests, and welcome. Welcome to the Policy Pathways Incorporated inaugural fall celebration and fundraiser. As we embark upon the mission to train and educate individuals who want to become leaders in public policy and want to serve in the public and private sectors, we ask that you join us on this journey. We envision a society, a world in which high-level policy decision makers are more diverse and in which previously disenfranchised groups and communities have more power as well as more voice in policy formation and public policy decisions. So again, welcome. We look forward to the future as our partners in sharing the future of policies that are beneficial to all people. Thank you and welcome again.
Well done.
At this time, we will receive a special greeting from the City of Richmond from Council Liaison Sam Patterson, who will be stepping in for Dr. Cynthia Newville.
Thank you, Sheila. Good evening, folks. Good evening, folks. Good evening. On behalf of Councilwoman Cynthia Newville, President of City Council, I want to welcome you here this evening to your first annual event. To our Young at Heart honorees, congratulations. And to our young honorees, congratulations. You know, our teenagers and our young folks here in Richmond,
Don't say nothing.
probably most of them are not get to be ready to be honored here tonight.
I'm doing it.
Those are the folks we have to uplift and bring to the table for years to come. For years to come. To your young honorees, take a step forward, look forward to tomorrow, and once again, welcome to everyone.
Amen. Are you all excited
Yes.
about this evening? And the reason I'm saying that because as I'm looking at information and I'm looking at the young people who will be honored, and you think about this whole program, who put this together, the people who will be impacted by this. We don't have any programs like this to help young people to step into a leadership role. We don't have stuff like this. We just don't. And I think about the people who are behind this program, who had the vision and then moved on the vision and then brought the vision to life and then invited young people to be a part of the vision, to step into the vision so they can have a vision and even a bigger vision than they had even envisioned. And here we are tonight making history with the first annual fall celebration and fundraiser. Is that not enough reason to be excited? They say the children are our future. The young kids in this room today will be our future. So we need to make sure, just like our brother Sam said, we need to be excited and we need to let them know that we got them, that we will be watching you, we will be monitoring you. We're going to make sure that you are going in the path that you should be going in and not allowing anything to pull you left or right, because there's so many distractions out here in the world that can easily take you off course.
True.
So what is happening tonight, what we are hearing tonight already is enough for us to realize if you are in this program, consider yourself privileged. Consider yourself privileged. Consider yourself privileged. Because you're benefiting so much from so many great people who have great minds who are sowing into you. So I just got a little excited, Sam. That's your fault. But at this time, we are going to also hear at this time from Dr. D. Pulani Lucas as she comes at this time. She didn't want me to read much about her, but as she's coming, she's also the founder of the D. Pulani Lucas and Company, LLC, a public policy and research consulting firm. Let's give her love.
Honored by your presence. The Board of Policy Pathways, we are thrilled that you are here. First, I'd like to just introduce the board. We have Beverly Davis, if you will stand, as our Vice President. Dr. Cynthia Mayo as our Secretary. Dr. Delta Bowers, she's our treasurer. Dr. Patrick Graham, over here, is a member. The Honorable Dolores McQuinn. The Honorable Don C. Page. And Dr. Ritter is here as a member. And we also have Dr. Ivan Suin, who was unable to make it this evening. We are just honored by your presence and thank you for coming. We also just want to celebrate our honorees. Beginning, we will be honoring Mr. and Honorable Atif Corney will receive an award tonight. He is here in our keynote speaker. We will also honor Delegate Dolores McQuinn this evening. And then we have the stars of our show tonight, our young college and high school honorees. We have Corey tonight at this table. Corey, if you would just stand and say hi. Corey and these young, dynamic young people tonight. Myasia is here. Israel, here. Alicia is here. And Carson is here as well. I also want to point out 3 individuals. They are here tonight. They have volunteered to come, and they are my students at Reynolds. They've been tremendously helpful. We have Dexter in the back. If you could stand and say hi. These are the top students in my class. Giovanna, say hello. And Arturo. Thank you for coming. And I just want all of our the committee members just to stand, just so that we can see we could not do what we've done tonight without the help of our committee members. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about Policy Pathways. Policy Pathways was founded by 4 African American professors. And we came together after thinking about young people who we see on TV. They're becoming more active, more civically engaged. They have a voice and a perspective on the way policies are impacting their lives. Whether it is immigration, whether it is the environment, whether it's gun control and other issues. But what we've seen is that these young people get frustrated when their activism does not lead to policy change. And what we did was, now that we started out with 4 members, we have our board of 9, and we're just thrilled. We're all working together. So what you see tonight and what you will hear is the result of just dynamic individuals working together, thinking about how we can help young people transition from activism and civic engagement to policy change and policy form and having some impact. So there are 2 issues that really led to what you will see as policy pathways. And they have to do with the disparity in education, first of all. When we look at gifted and talented programs, what we see is an underrepresentation of students from historically marginalized populations. And so we see, in particular, and in Virginia in 2017, a study was done that illustrated that there is actually a decline in the young African American men who are in gifted and talented programs. So we want to address that disparity. We also found, and research shows, that in policy-related programs, so in public policy programs, in colleges and universities across the country, we see an underrepresentation of students of color, particularly African American students and Hispanic students. We want to address that issue. When you look at public administration programs, you do see more African American and Hispanic students. But when you look at policy-related programs, you see that there's a larger gap. So we don't want to focus only on the problem. We are pivoting to a solution, and that's what you see with policy pathways. I tell this story because this is an important story. I think it really crystallizes the challenges that Black students and Hispanic students face. My daughter, my husband is here, Reverend Dr. Fred Lucas. Our daughter is Frederica. Frederica, since she was this young, 7, 8 years old, she always knew that she wanted to go to Harvard University. And she did everything that she needed to do to get there, to be a strong applicant in that applicant pool. So she went to her summer programs, she practiced the SAT, she took her AP classes, and she ended up getting an 800 on her SAT math portion. And I have you know, Bill Gates, and my students know this, Bill Gates got an 800 on his math portion. So just to let you know. He didn't want to date any women who didn't also have an 800, by the way. So anyway, when Frederica was in the 11th grade, her college counselor told her to categorize all of the colleges that she was interested in and to use this 5-point Likert scale. So she was to categorize some as very likely. Those are the ones I know I can get in. Then there were the likely, there were the maybes, there were unlikely and very unlikely. So Frederica put Harvard in the highly likely category. And when she met with her college counselor told her, oh no, you have to put that in the unlikely category. So Frederica knows her mom. And she couldn't get out of there fast enough to call me. And so I called the counselor and told the counselor, Frederica will not be participating in that exercise. We have to protect our children's dreams.
Tell it. Tell
We
it.
have to fight for our children's dreams. Every mother, you know, it is not easy. And fathers. And so Frederica did not complete that exercise. She went ahead and applied to Harvard and was accepted at age 16. Last summer, Frederica won a prestigious fellowship to do research with the leading researcher on Alzheimer's, CTE, and brain injury at Harvard Medical School. And they are working to identify antibodies that will treat and diagnose brain injuries. If Frederica had not applied to Harvard, Frederica would not have had those opportunities.
She got a
We
mama.
have to protect our children's dreams. That's what Policy Pathways is about. We are about helping children. What we believe is that oftentimes policy is not introduced. Policy making, policy formation, policy analysis. Typically, children don't even know what policy is. High school students, community college. They hear about it, but they don't know what it is. And we believe that younger children are ready to learn about policy making. High school students, community college students, they are ready. And we plan to introduce them to it. So what I would like to do is point you to a brochure that you have on your table. And this brochure tells you about our Summer Academy for Policy, Leadership, and Public Service. And I'd like to just thank Virginia Union University. They are our community partner. And we have Kimberly Gators here today. You will meet her. She is the new dean at the School of Education here. And also Dr. Hakeem Lucas, we thank him as well. And so our inaugural session will begin Sunday, June the 28th. It's a 2-week session, and it will run until Saturday, July 11th. During that 2-week time, rising sophomores, juniors, seniors in high school, recent high school graduates, community college students, freshmen and sophomores in colleges and universities will be introduced to the vast array and broad array of policy studies. That will include introducing them to research methods, statistics, policy formation and analysis, economics, critical thinking, advocacy, and writing. Over the 2-week period, students will have more course content hours than if they were to take a semester-long, 16-week, 3-credit course. And so we have our website here. We're launching our website today, so if you get a chance, visit us at policypathways.org. The admissions requirements, they're on the back page of this brochure. You will apply online. If you have additional questions, please feel free to call us. We thank you so much. And also we thank Richmond Public Schools. We are working together to provide scholarships for students in the Richmond Public School system. And so we just want to thank the Richmond Public Schools, who's also a community partner. And I'd just like to say before I go, we'd like to thank our corporate sponsors. And we'd like to thank Frida Thornton, and she's with FWL & Sons. She is a corporate sponsor. And we'd like to thank Beverly Davis of Davis Brothers. This event would not have happened without your support. Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
That was good information, yes? Yes. At this time, we're going to back up just a little bit because the Honorable Mayor has arrived. Please put your hands together for our Mayor, LeVar Shelby.
Well, good evening, everyone. Good evening. I apologize for my tardiness. It's this job that, keeps getting in the way sometimes.
You're here.
I'm glad to be with you all this evening. First, I want to thank Dr. Lucas as well and the organization, all those involved here at Policy Pathways Incorporated. And I'm glad to be here with you on your celebration. I got involved in public service now, looking back at it, politics and public service some now, I guess 15 years ago. And looking back at it, I kind of always knew I would get involved in public service. However, when I look back at my career, the last 15, 20 years, there were never programs necessarily that featured black and brown kids coming together, learning about the civics process, learning about how they can contribute to policy, learning about how they can contribute to building their communities up. All the things I learned were at times learned in the classroom, but you all know that everything isn't learned in a book. You have to have hands-on experience. And outside of that experience, you also need mentorship as well.
True.
And sometimes in these fields that we just stated, I just stated that you don't see a lot of people who look like us. Even within the party that I represent, a lot of times I was pigeonholed into working jobs that they only thought that black people could do. Not knowing that we had the skill, the talent to do things like fundraise, policy. Now we are at a point, I think, some 20 years later, that it's time to ensure that those who are our leaders reflect who we are. And that's what Policy Pathways is all about. Education is a critical pathway to a successful and thriving life. You all already know that. It opens doors of opportunities and experiences that can create new worlds of understanding and generate innovative solutions to society's pressing problems. It can also help build an open legacy for our individuals in our underrepresented communities. Unfortunately, many of our children and communities have not been afforded equal and equitable opportunities to thrive. That is why it is important for organizations like Policy Pathways to take and play a role in providing educational opportunities that will build our future leaders. It's important to recognize people doing the good work, right? The work done by organizations and institutions like Policy Pathways, Virginia Union University, are critical in shaping and molding great minds and building powerful leaders. It's also important to acknowledge that the individuals in the community within boardrooms and policy chambers who serve those in need and fight every day to ensure that policy is reflective of the needs of all members of our community. Yes, sir. One of your honorees this evening, Delegate Dolores McQuinn, has been serving for decades with strength, fortitude, power, wisdom, and resilience. I probably got a couple other more adjectives in there, but I think that will do it for tonight. She, as I say, is the godmother of the delegations here in the city of Richmond. She did not pay me to say that, but I do recognize that she is on the powerful Appropriations Committee in the Virginia General Assembly. In addition to her work as a state policy leader, she often volunteers her time in mentoring, shepherding a new generation of leaders here in Richmond. She has taken me on many walks. We have sat on many park benches. And she is the individual who has the ability to tell me when I'm messing up. And it is evident that our honorees from 4 Richmond Public Schools, high schools, and from Virginia State University also pour into our community through their public service work. It's always encouraging to see young people step up and make a difference and serve as leaders to others. We saw many of them for a March for Our Lives to ensure that we can not only end gun violence in our city, but ensure that we have the sort of common sense gun laws in the books to ensure that not only black and brown kids, but kids all across this country can go to school safely. All our kids who will be receiving an honor tonight are extremely deserving of the award that will be bestowed upon them today. We must always remember to do and be the work. John Lewis was here and he said, we got to cause trouble sometimes, good trouble. And that's what our honorees do on a regular basis, whether it's in our communities, our neighborhoods, our schools, hubs, or in local and state, national spaces. Each of us can affect necessary change and transformation, but education is the key to making that happen. Thank you all for the work that you do, and congratulations to our honorees.
Come on, one more time for our mayor. At this time, let us receive Dr. Kimberly Gators White. Let me tell you a little bit about her. She makes her way here. She is the new Dean of the School of Education and Interdisciplinary Studies here at Virginia University. Let her hear it.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. As the Dean for the School of Education, I'm sure it's not a big secret that I love being in this room today when the topic of discussion is about education. But more importantly, where we're able to celebrate individuals who look at policy and make changes in policy, but also where we're able to celebrate these students. So before we do anything else, let's give these students who will be honored. A few weeks ago, I was able to meet Secretary Corney for the first time. President Lucas and Provost Goodrich invited me to attend a meeting with them where Secretary Corney invited individuals from different schools to come in to talk about the issues and concerns and look at solutions for different types of institutions in the state of Virginia. When I left that meeting, of course I'm new to the state of Virginia, I left that meeting stating that Secretary of Education Corney is good for the state of Virginia. So when I was asked to introduce him today, my response was, of course. Atif Corney was appointed by Governor Ralph Northam as Secretary of Education for the state of Virginia and assumed his role in January 2018. Prior to his appointment, he taught at Bevel Middle School in Prince William County, leading courses in civics, economics, U.S. history, and mathematics. So it's no wonder that he is very engrossed in policy and policy change. He also served as a GED night school instructor. In 2016, Secretary Corney was recognized as the Dale City Teacher of the Year, and Teacher of the Year is no light task. In addition to his work as an educator, Secretary Corney is a former sergeant of the United States Marine Corps and was deployed in Iraq in 2003 during Operation Iraqi Freedom. He has also served at the state level, having been appointed by Governor Terry McAuliffe to the Small Business Commission in 2013. Secretary Corney holds a bachelor's in sociology from George Washington University, as well as a master's in history and teaching license from George Mason University. In less than 2 years, Secretary Corney has been busy demonstrating the competencies that led Governor Northam to appoint him to this influential role. According to his Twitter account, Secretary Corney has engaged in such diverse activities as speaking at the City of Fairfax Early Childhood Education Summit, boasting about the amazing CTE programs across the state, supporting the Children's Book Festival at Longwood University, discussing the need to bring social emotional learning to the forefront of education, and visiting with the Montessori Public School of Arlington. And the list continues. However, what really strikes me as important about our guest speaker is the lasting impression he leaves upon the individuals he meets, me included. And the words of one of his former students, Stephanie, "I'm so happy I get to see my old teacher and new Secretary of Education, Mr. Corney. You have helped me in so many ways, and I can never thank you enough for all that you do. You truly do care about the students." This, my friends, is the type of individual we need leading discussions about policy and guiding the decisions about the lives of our future, our students. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce you to Secretary of Education, Atif Corney.
Dr. Gators, for that kind introduction. I got to be careful what I put on Twitter. After that introduction, I'm definitely going to disappoint. That all sounded so good, I didn't want you to stop. But thank you so much, Virginia Union, for hosting this great event in Policy Pathways. Thank you for the board of Policy Pathways. Ms. Davis brought this to my attention a few months ago, and in the description it was like, this is going to help students, and I'm like, I'm there. So thank you so much for your work. This is really great, and Elijah Cummings was referenced earlier today, and he was the ultimate policymaker, so it's good omen to have today is a very, very special day, and thank you for all the work you do. I'm a policymaker as the Secretary of Education in the Commonwealth, but I'd never had any formal education in policy. It just was very kind of coincidental, but the good mayor referenced that education is just not limited to the classroom, it's everywhere. So policy making has been happening for generations, and as we have faced a lot of challenges and struggles in our history, and there's a lot of examples of folks who might not be necessarily in policy making positions like myself, but they really do inspire a lot of young people and who have a really deep impact. For me, I had a lot of influence from my family members. My grandmother, who fled as a refugee from one country to another, bringing her 4 other younger sisters along together. And back in the 1940s, where it was more challenging. It's challenging for women now, but it was even more challenging back in that era. Young 5 females fleeing from one country to another and really raising a family. And she was an educator. She was a principal. So that's inspiring. Her stories is what really inspired me. So for me, she was like my classroom. I learned a lot about policy from things like that that was passed down to me, all those stories and so forth. So education occurs everywhere. The classroom really is the whole world, the entire world, and programs like Policy Pathways have a deep impact on our young people. So thank you. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for the board to really taking on this initiative. So please give them a round of applause for Gosh, I have just so much to say, but I'll be, concise and to the point. So, I've had the opportunity in my life to travel all across the globe, and I've also had the opportunity the last 2 years to travel all across the Commonwealth. And one thing that is clear to me is that there are inequities that exist in our society. They look different in different parts of the world, and in the Commonwealth we have significant inequities that exist all across the state. And that is why when I'm working with the governor and I'm advising him about budget and policy, we really make sure that we're looking at everything through a lens of equity, whether it's programs in early childhood, whether it's our K-12 programs, or whether it's our post-secondary education program. We call this approach the equity in education approach to cradle to classroom to career. It sounds all good. And we've injected a lot of new dollars the last year or so on many fronts to address achievement gaps that exist. But beyond dollars, we have to come to a realization that systemic racism, sexism, and classism are very real barriers to equity in our communities throughout the Commonwealth. We have to embrace that, and we have to do something about that. So, I really want to imagine a world, and let's imagine together a world that, there are no barriers that would exist, that they would all disappear, all go away. Imagine a world where parents actually seek to place their children in classrooms with students with many different cultures and backgrounds because they long for their children to develop greater empathy and creativity. Imagine that world. It shouldn't be just about test scores and AP classes, but really developing greater empathy and creativity. Imagine a world where black, brown, and white kids can all learn together, and a world where academic achievement is not so determined by a child's special needs, their language barriers, or their zip code. And imagine a world where a child can learn to process and regulate their emotions without being kicked out of class, and they can actually go work with a school counselor rather than facing a punitive system and getting a referral and getting suspended. So that is very, very critical. And at this point, I want to recognize that we did have a big achievement this past year. The governor really wanted to address staffing ratios for school counselors, and with a new budget item, we were able to secure a significant amount of money. I wish we could have got more, but with the money, across Virginia, there were 600 new school counselors that were hired that started this new school year. Imagine the impact that is going to have. And the policy champion that led that effort in the General Assembly that we trust more than anybody else was our very own Madam Delegate. Thank you so much. I remember those subcommittee meetings and all the hours you spent in testifying and really fighting hard for that. And I am meeting all the new counselors. I'm talking to students and administrators across the Commonwealth and teachers, and they're talking about what a great achievement it was. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. You know, Virginia Union has a very rich history on theology. We talk about God's work and so forth, and our educators and our counselors really truly put that work in action. They truly do God's work, and we have to invest in them. And that investment is an investment in our children, and our policymakers who fight the good fight, who are champions, they're doing God's work. So, please again give her a big round of applause. We must continue to imagine a better future together. In education, equity means that we meet the needs of every child wherever they are and whenever they need it, so in order for that child to really succeed. This is our vision for Virginia's future, but to get there, we have to be bold. This is not going to happen accidentally. The definition of equity requires we have to be intentional and we have to be creative. It requires vigilance in our decision-making and attention to implicit biases we hold and societal pressures we face. It requires us to view diversity as an asset rather than a barrier to success. When people ask me, what keeps me up at night? The answer is straightforward. I know that not all of our children are getting what they need to succeed in life, and I believe that addressing this problem starts with meeting the social and emotional needs of our students first. Behavior problems are not moral failings or isolated students. Our young people lash out when they are in pain. Expectations are different for people of color versus whites. Okay? And if I may be too bold to say that, if a white person shows emotions, oftentimes they're considered passionate. But if a person of color, specifically a Black or Latinx person, shows emotions, they're labeled as being angry. We have to rid our minds of these implicit biases that lead to a systemic racist society. That pain that our children face can be due to trauma. That pain could be due to chronic food insecurity or homelessness. That pain can be due to health issues that have gone unaddressed. That pain could be due to neglect. That pain could be due to systemic racism, sexism, and other kinds of isms. And by getting rid of these implicit biases and addressing these microaggression behaviors towards marginalized groups, that's the only way that we're really going to move forward. So we need a philosophical shift that prioritizes the health and social and emotional needs of our children. These are not separate and apart from learning. These are foundational if our students are to thrive academically. One of the things that I'm emphasizing with our educators is that by putting social and emotional needs of our children at the forefront, they will all rise together. And we have to transition away from high-stakes testing and high-stakes grading culture to a culture that is focused on equity, that is focused on social and emotional learning, so we all rise together. And our young people who are being honored today, oftentimes there's a misconception that policy can only be done by a policymaker, but there's a lot that impacts you in your schools, like the way your grading is done, like the way your schedules are done, like the way your syllabi are done, like the way your homework is assigned and so forth. And those are policies that you have control over. I know for a fact, I'm telling you, Secretary of Education, that is something that we give the autonomy to every individual schools to make those decisions at the school level. And as you, as students, who we serve, you are our clients, you need to stand up. And if you feel that those things are punitive in nature, you need to revamp them and you need to address these issues at your schools. In order for us to create a more perfect union, we must shape the minds of our young people so they can craft a future which is brighter than our current existence. The only way our children can shape a better future is through an inclusive education system. So that is why the governor and I will continue to fight to create a more equitable education system from cradle to classroom to career. Education, at its best, teaches children that they have the power to leave the world a better place. Oftentimes, as adults, we conform and we tell our children that this is the way the world is and nothing changes. But rather than saying that, we should be educating our children, saying and empowering that you can shape the future. And you should be asking the question, what should the world really be like? What's the good model for the world in it? And so forth. And that is what we should be teaching our young people. And Policy Pathways is exactly a place that embodies the very best education in this way. Policy Pathways helps youth hone leadership skills, develop strategies to influence and affect change, and understand better how policies and political decisions impact their lives. In other words, this origination provides the resources and encouragement for students to believe that they have what it takes to succeed, that they can be the next generation of world changers. So students, you are our hope, the four of you who are being honored here and many more that Policy Pathways will impact. You don't have to settle for the society you have inherited. You can teach us, your peers, and your future children how the world really should be. Together, we can and we will advocate for a society in which every person's needs are valued and met. Together, we can create classrooms everywhere that value all cultural perspectives and meet the needs of every child regardless of their race, their language, their religion, their sexual orientation, their gender, or their zip code. Together, we can work together towards an education system that shows our students how the world really should be. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Come on, one more time. Uplifting, empowering. Thank you so much for your words of encouragement. And I'm loving what our other sister said. We have to protect our dreams and protect the dreams of our children. At this time, we are ready to move on with our award presentations. And coming to us for Excellence in Public Policy and Administration Award, the presenter, Dr. Ted L. Ritter.
Good evening. Good evening. In my day job, I am the Dean of the School of Arts and Sciences at Virginia Union, so let me join Dr. Gators. Oh, no. Is that better? No.
Yeah, you're speaking toward the loud project.
All right, I'll just speak that.
I can't hear you.
Still can't hear me?
No.
Just speak directly into it and just project a little bit. That's all. There you go.
Sorry about that. My name is Ted Ritter, and as I mentioned, I am the Dean of the School of Arts and Sciences at Virginia Union. I joined Dr. Bowers and Dean Gators in welcoming you on behalf of our President, Dr. Hakeem J. Lucas, our Vice President for Academic Affairs, and Provost, Dr. Joy Goodrich. Welcome back to Virginia Union, because I know most of you have been here before. And if you haven't, where have you been? It's my pleasure to give the first award tonight to Secretary Corning. And if I may digress briefly, Mr. Secretary, he is the poster child for why Policy Pathways and their mission is so important. And I say that because I know that there are those people today in Washington who, if they had their way, would have made it more difficult, if not impossible, Mr. Secretary, for you to be in this country. It would have made it impossible for you to serve the United States in the U.S. Marine Corps. It would have made it impossible for you to do the work that you're doing for our children today. So it's important, and the work that Policy Pathways is doing and will do is to provide that policy input from those who are typically more marginalized and have not had a voice. This program will provide that voice, and I think as a result of that, we will be a stronger, fairer, more equitable country. But I'm here primarily to recognize Secretary Carney for his work. You've heard a little bit about him. You've heard him speak now about his experience, the work that he's doing with the governor on a daily basis to improve the quality of education in the Commonwealth. And as a result of that, it's my pleasure, on behalf of Dr. Lucas and the Board of Directors of Policy Pathways, to present you with an award for your excellence in administration and leadership.
Do it over there. No, that ain't gonna work.
Dr. Carney, this award reads, from Policy Pathways Incorporated, Excellence in the Public Policy Administration Award presented to the Honorable T. Carney, Secretary of Education, Commonwealth of Virginia, in appreciation of your dedicated leadership and in special recognition of outstanding service in public policy and public administration, presented at the first annual Fall Celebration fundraiser, Thursday, October 24th, 2019.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Come over just a little bit. I'm trying to get out of that screen. You want to come right here? Okay, here we go.
Thank you.
One more. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You good?
Datriel McQuinn Nazi will help us in presenting the Policy Leadership Award to the Honorable Dolores L. McQuinn.
Good evening, everybody. I want to start by saying that oftentimes when you're close to a person and see them every day, you tend to be aware of the impact that they have made on your life, but not necessarily the major impact that they have made on the entire world. With that being said, every now and then in my downtime, I tend to type in the name Dolores McQuinn on Google, Googling my own mom. One site starts by saying that Dolores McQuinn is an American politician of the Democratic Party. Another site refers to her as a busy woman full of enthusiasm for a life of community service and public service. In many other sites, when Googling her name, such words pop up like African American, breastfeeding, cancer, gun safety, gun control, health insurance, history, pregnancy, real estate regulations, school safety, food deserts, teacher, women's rights, reconciliation, and justice. Delegate Dolores McQuinn has been a trailblazer in policy initiatives and legislative reform in the General Assembly and local government for over 25 years. Where am I? I can't see. Okay, here we are. I'm getting older. First appointed to the Richmond School Board in 1992, her first love has always been children. Much of her focus has been on legislation that ensures quality educational opportunities for all students from pre-K to 12th grade, as well as higher education. Her love for children has been reflected in several programs sponsored by Delegate McQuinn. The Back to School Rally and Revival, which is one of my biggest memories, was sponsored years ago, where school supplies and spiritual growth was given to elementary and high school students. For the past 11 years, Delegate McQuinn has sponsored the Summer Writing Institute, where young people are empowered to improve their communication skills, embrace their history, and learn valuable life skills. She has helped many of these students to find their voice and to share their profound thoughts and opinions with the world. Delegate McQuinn strongly believes in empowering others to get involved with community service, organizational, and careers to impact policy and positive change. Since 2009, she has provided more than 50 students with the opportunity to become legislative interns in her office and become legislative pages with the General Assembly. Delegate McQuinn takes a special kind of joy in mentoring these young people. Many of them have gone on to college and law school and are on the path themselves of making positive changes and contributions to their communities through their career and volunteer service. Delegate McQuinn has been a champion for women's rights, opening many doors and policy changes to positively impact women. Yes. She introduced bills for everything for women's rights, covering breaks and location for working mothers to breastfeed and pump, to advocating for equal pay and work on the behalf of women. Another policy change for Delegate McQuinn that she has been passionate about has been that of reasonable gun reform. She is the chair of the Central Virginia region of the Safe Virginia Initiative and has sponsored several town hall meetings and a teen summit to address gun safety and the importance of legislation that will prevent violence. Oftentimes, like I said before, we forget how important these people are in our lives. History will speak well of her. Her work speaks for her today. I am pleased to present an exquisite orator, a critical thinker, a beautiful wife, a devoted mother, a remarkable grandmother who my children call G-Lo. But for me, I just simply call her Mom.
And the plaque reads, on behalf of the Policy Pathways Board of Directors, we present this award, this Policy Leadership Award, to the Honorable Dolores L. McQuinn in recognition of outstanding contributions to initiating policy change and forging policy reform on issues critical to the community, city, state, nation, and the world. We express our deepest appreciation for your exceptional service, leadership, and dedication to nurturing future policy leaders. Congratulations. You have to award Delegate McQuinn with a little African, something from Africa. This is some kente cloth from West Africa.
All right. Come on, we're getting in there.
We also have a beautiful letter from the governor, which I'm not going to read. It's a long, nice letter to you. It's presented to you.
All right.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. You're right. You want to turn? Yeah. Great. Come over. Just come over. Just come over. Yeah. We're trying to get out of this screen.
Don't stand in front of the screen.
Yeah. We're trying to get out of the screen.
Light of the screen.
One more. A little bit more. A little bit more. There you go. You good? Go ahead.
What's that, Mom?
Don't move. Don't move. She want me to get her shoes. No. Thank you. Yeah, I did. All right, amazing. Okay, yeah.
I would like just to take this opportunity to thank Policy Pathway, this great organization, and how they would truly impact the lives of so many people. especially young people, but I also want to acknowledge Cheryl Bird, who's a member of Richmond School Board, Don Page, who's a member of Richmond School Board. And then there are two individuals, well, there are quite a few, Ben Campbell, but also my high school guidance counselor, Miss Joanne McCabe is here. Miss McCabe, would you please stand up? And then there's one other individual that I've been knowing and are going to since I was the age of 18 probably, and that is my dentist, Dr. Kanazy, Fred Kanazy. And many family members and sisters and brothers who are here. I'm one of 12. They are here today. Thank you for my family and friends who are present as well. God bless you and thank you again.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Dawn Page. I'm the chair of the Richmond City School Board, and it's my pleasure to honor the Youth Public Service Award recipients, honorees. But before I recognize our young people, I would like for everyone that's affiliated with Richmond Public Schools or have been affiliated with Richmond Public Schools to please stand.
My.
Thank you, Policy Pathways Incorporated, for this wonderful partnership, this great opportunity for our young people. Thank you. Our first honoree is Corey Stuckey, George Wythe High School. As he comes forward, I'd just like to read a little something about Corey. It's in your booklet, but I think it's worthy to be noted. Corey is a well-rounded junior at George Wythe High School with a 3.9 GPA. He gives dedicated and motivated a new meaning. He's on the George Wythe High School Student Council. He also plays basketball, runs track, and is in the marching band. A gifted orator, Corey stars in the George Wythe High School forensic team, reaching the Virginia High School League state forensic competition last year. He also participates in the monthly litter pickup program, collects canned goods for the annual canned good drive, and pennies for Patients for the Leukemia Foundation. Corey began serving on the Superintendent Advisory Council for the 2018-2019 school year and has continued on this council. Corey Stuckey is presented this award in recognition of an outstanding leadership, service, and commitment. You have truly made a difference in your family, school, organization, and community. Presented at the first annual Fall Celebration and Fundraiser, Thursday, October 24th, 2019. Policy Pathways Board of Directors, Dr. Lucas, President and CEO, Mrs. Davis, Vice President, Dr. Cynthia Mayo, Secretary, Dr. Bowers, Treasurer, Dr. Ritter, Member, and Dr. Swin, Member, and the Honorable Dolores McQuinn, a member, Dr. Graham, member, and Honorable Dawn C. Page, member. Again, congratulations.
Come over. Come over just a little bit more. Yeah. There you go. One more. Don't move. Thank you.
We also have a check, Corey. We also have a check for you.
Oh!
Corey also has a letter from the governor.
He smiled now. Oh, yeah.
Our next honoree is my Asia Gould. My Asia is a junior at Open High, and she's a member of the Open High School Student Representatives and is on the Student Advisory Council for the Richmond Public Schools, as well as being an active community member. She is involved in starting and maintaining a community garden that will help provide fresh foods, and she recently spoke out at the City Council meeting to raise awareness about the inadequate supply of fresh foods in some communities. Public service is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. She says, quoting Muhammad Ali, she sees a duty to pay back what members of her community have so generously given to her. Her goal is to raise people's socioeconomic status by eradicating food deserts and supporting other improvements. So again, this award is presented to Maisha Gould, Open High School, in recognition of outstanding leadership, service, and commitment. You have truly made a difference in your family, school, organization, and community. Again, congratulations. And Ms. Maisha also has a letter from the governor.
Okay.
And a check.
Turn. Yeah, there you go. Go ahead.
Come on.
All right, Mayor, ladies. One more. Gotta get these. Thank you.
Our next recipient is Israel Torres Pastorino. Israel is a junior at Huguenot High School, and he was born in Veracruz, Mexico. He is in his third year with the Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps, ROTC.
Yes, sir.
He has earned the rank of Cadet Command Sergeant Major. A member of the drill team and the color guard, volunteers often, serving with the honor guard at ceremonies of all kinds. Israel also serves as an ambassador to welcome newly arrived Spanish-speaking students at Huguenot.
All right.
Israel also participates in the Scholars Latino Initiative and the League of the United Latin American citizens known as LULAC, which invited him last year to the 2019 State of Latino America Summit Legislative Awards Gala. Again, congratulations, Israel. This award is presented to Israel Torres Castellanos, Huguenot High School, in recognition of outstanding leadership, service, and commitment. You have truly made a difference in your family, school, organizations, and community. Again, congratulations. A letter from the governor and a check.
Okay. May I? Turn it. Hold, don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere. Turn it. Down the governor award. Yeah. Okay. You come over. Yeah. We're trying to make sure we got everybody. You good?
Yeah.
One more.
For them to take their picture, then you go over and take your picture. Because otherwise they're going to be looking at.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead. You want to take? You got yours?
Yes, please.
Sweetheart, you want to take yours? Okay, we good. Yeah, I ain't trying to. Yeah, you smell whatever you got on. It smells good.
Good evening.
Yeah.
How are you doing tonight? Right. I guess this is the moment when words that make sense are supposed to come out of my mouth. Where do I start? So some of you all might have read, my name is Israel Torres. I come from Veracruz, Mexico. I was born on March 15, 2003. And, well, I'm very honored to be here tonight.
Thank you. Glad to have you.
I would like to thank Huguenot High School's principal, Robert Gilstrap, the superintendent, Jason Conrad, Dr. Pulani, and also my parents, Olga Elizabeth my father, Israel Torres, Sr., my teachers, faculty and staff from Huguenot High School, like Colonel Taylor, retired, here present. Yes. I humbly accept this honor. This is really nice. Well, everybody have a good evening. Thank you for the opportunity of being here.
All right. Thank you.
Our next recipient, Jamasia Richardson. Jamasia is a junior at Thomas Jefferson High School. Jamaica's hard work and commitment to academic excellence have earned, senior, a GPA of 4.7. Jamaica placed in the Scholar Roll and ranked in the 3rd in her class. She plays basketball and is on the varsity volleyball team, in which she won the Most Dedicated Player Award in 2017, as well as being a Scholar Athlete of the Week in 2017 and 2018. A member of the National Junior Honor Society, Delta Gems. She strives for excellence and inspires others to do the same, serving as Key Club President, Vice President, and President of the Future Business Leaders of America, and as a participant and the Partnership for the Partnership for the Future. Again, we recognize Jamasia Richardson. This award is presented to Jamasia Richardson, Thomas Jefferson High School, in recognition of outstanding leadership, service, and commitment. You have truly made a difference in your family, school, organizations, and community. Congratulations.
Check. Letter from the governor.
Come on over. Come on over. There you go.
Smile. One more.
My turn. One more. Can't forget. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
First of all, I'd like to say I'm very honored to receive this award. This was a complete surprise to me when I got the call from Dr. Lucas. I had no idea what it was, so I was very thankful for it. I also like to say congratulations to my fellow RPS students. I know we've all worked hard to get here. Thank you to everyone else who has been a major influence in RPS schools. RPS needs funding. So everyone, I appreciate it. And thank you, Mom. Thank you so much. I mean, have a nice night.
She wants to.
Again, I would like to recognize all of our young people, our honorees tonight. Please, let's give them another round of applause. And also just want to add, our superintendent, Jason Cameron, was unable to be here. He's attending a conference. But again, he sends his congratulations as well.
Good evening. It gives me great pleasure to introduce and present our person who is a college student. This young man has been busy ever since he was born. He has participated in every opportunity that comes to him. His name is Carlson Maurice James Chapis. Is here because she served as chairman of the Young Achievers program last year, and Carlson, every time we sent notices out, we knew that Carlson was going to be there. And he was there diligently serving and participating in our service projects. He has worked with music. He has also worked in his church and the community. He has participated in leadership programs. He was an active member of our Young Achievers program, sponsored by the Commonwealth chapter of the Lynx and the Beta Gamma Lambda chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity. He has been so instrumental in serving as a mentor to the young achievers who have come after him. He served for the 4 years that he was in high school. He was always there. And he is now a student at Virginia State University. So can I have all people who came for the support of Carson to please stand? You have people from Virginia State and the campus. No one is successful without the help of someone else, and
True.
we have that support. Thank you. And Carson, we congratulate you, and we know that you're going to be the leader of Policy Pathways when you're back.
Yes.
Speech.
Okay, this is presented to Carlton Maurice James Chavis for all of your dedicated service, your friendship, mentorship, and all that you have contributed to the community. We thank you.
Ma'am.
Everyone, step to your right. This small step to your right.
No, come this way. Come on. Trying to get you out of that screen.
Oh, okay.
Okay, there you go.
Together. Nice smiles.
Yes.
Nice smiles. One more.
Okay.
One more. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it? All right. Okay. You ain't afraid. I ain't scared. That's what I'm talking about.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I am Carson Maurice James Chavis.
Let them know.
And I am a freshman at Virginia State University. I am very grateful to be here this evening and to have been nominated. I consider to select as a recipient of the Youth Public Service Award. Yes. I consider this award a great honor and privilege, so thank you. I would like to thank the Commonwealth Chapter of the Links Incorporated and the Beta Gamma Lambda Chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated for giving me this opportunity. These organizations recognize something special in me, although I was diagnosed with a developmental delay and learning disability at a young age. Through the Young Achievers Program, I was able to learn, grow, give back to my community, and participate in many community service programs. The educational and service experience and exposure have set me on a path to further my education in mechanical engineering at Virginia State University. Become a productive member of society, do what I can to help my fellow man. That's right. I sincerely appreciate your continued support. And again, I thank you for the Youth Public Service Award from the first annual Policy Pathways. Thank you so much.
Come on, one more time for all of our honorees.
All right.
It's been such an amazing evening. Also, we want to recognize Delegate Bessie Carr. I know you're here. Yes, let's give her a love. If we could get all of the ministers, pastors, reverends, just to stand, we just want to thank you all for coming. I know you all are busy preparing sermons and praying for all of us here. We just want to take an opportunity to say thank you so much for being here this evening. Now, this has been a great evening. Yes. We have seen where our future is going. Yes. It's going in a great direction. And we're just beginning to be a part of understanding what this is all about. Are you with me?
Yes.
And now we're going to allow you an opportunity to really sow into what we're doing. And to help us with that at this time, Mrs. Beverly B. Davis, Board of Directors, Vice President, Policy Pathways. She's going to come at this time to let you know how you can participate. Let's give her a love.
Thank you. On behalf of the board, I'd like to thank Dr. R.T. Quaney for your support with Policy Pathways. We thank you so much. On your table, you will see an envelope, and that envelope represents my role here. And I think I have one of the most important roles because I'm going to ask you for a little financial support. So if you would just look at the envelope on your table, take that out, and there's something that everyone can do here for Policy Pathways. For our students, we'd like for you all to open up the envelope and let us know if you can help us volunteering your time and service with the organization. For the others, we'd like to know if you all would just look at the different levels of support, and you can pledge an amount, and you do not have to pay it right away. We will bill you on it, or you can do it over a period of time if you'd like. You can write a check if you'd like. There's so many things that you can do to help the organization. So we'd just like for you to, the students, if you would just write your name and address and your phone number so we can call you. If you would like to make a pledge and you would like for us to send you a monthly, quarterly bill for it, we're fine with that. If you'd like to leave $5, $10, whatever amount, we'd like that. And you can write a check, whatever you'd like us to do. And maybe not tonight, if you just leave your phone numbers on there so we can contact you. I personally will be calling you to see if you can help and how I can help you to forward the payments to us. So please take a look at that. If you have any questions, please ask me. Pardon me?
Any donations, we will walk around and collect the envelopes.
Oh, okay. If you'd like to leave your envelopes on the table tonight, that's fine too, and we'll come around and so pick those up. But I'd just like for you to know a little bit about what your donations will be used for. We have a lot of general operations. Under general operations, we need to get office space, we need administrative staff positions, we need to work on summer academy teaching positions. We also need help with hosting the website. And as far as the students are concerned, we need scholarships for the students. We need room and board for them this summer. We need transportation for them. Some will need computers. Some will need teaching materials. We'll also need to do other fundraising events. So any way that you can help with Policy Pathways, we would really appreciate it. So as I said, that envelope, in that envelope, you can just put your name on here if you'd like us to call you about your donations or any way we can help make this for you possible for us. We appreciate it. As you can see, they're placed there for you also. Payment methods, you can do checks. If you do a check, it's payable to Policy Pathways. And then we also have other payment methods like the Venmo and PayPal, Cash App. And also, as I said, it's not on here, but you can pledge if you'd like to, and we will work with you on that. But just make sure you put your name, phone number, and address on here. So thank you very much. This is always our job, but I appreciate any amount of funds that you can give to help Policy Pathways. Are there any questions that y'all would like to ask me? None at all? Okay, well, maybe I covered everything, and that's great. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You all writing those checks now? We want to encourage you. All right. All right, we are almost done, but at this time, we're going to have closing remarks from Dr. Patrick Graham, board member, Policy Pathways Incorporated. Let's give him love as he comes at this time.
Well, y'all can do better than that for the man who's about to bring you home. First of all, let me just thank you all for attending tonight. I want to give a special congratulations to all our honorees. And thank you to our Honorable Secretary of Education for blessing us tonight with some inspiring words. Well, you've heard a lot about what we are trying to accomplish with Policy Pathways. But I will tell you that this mission, while the organization is new, the struggle is not.
True.
And so when I think about young people like Corey, Myasia, and Jamisha, I am reminded that as slaves were freed, the Freedmen's Bureau was charged with another dream from those former slaves, and it was to allow them to have an education. And what we began to see through those former slaves was a new breed of gate crashers for democracy. And what those young people did in trying to aspire for education was that they began to open the doors for what would now be our public education system. And so on the backs of those who had been whipped, while the blood that ran from their veins was still wet, it also allowed even poor whites to walk over their backs into an education system.
That's right.
That is part of your legacy in history. And if you think that I forgot about Israel, I did not. Because Israel in 1947, during the Mendez versus Westminster case in California, what happened was there was a decision made that we could not segregate Latino, at that time Mexican American students, from whites. And it became the prototype for what the likes of a Thurgood Marshall would use in Brown versus the Board of Education.
Tell it.
You also have an ancestry that are part of the gate crashers for democracy. And as we look now to who our new equity practitioners will be in policy, we must now think about those young people that we see protesting out in our streets.
That's right.
Whether it's Black Lives Matter, Me Too, or other movements, we must consider this fact that while there are black and brown bodies on the streets protesting, there are not enough black and brown minds inside the halls of decision makers to influence policy. So tonight, you are actually witnessing the birth of an organization that is trying to not only address that issue, but also find ways to allow those young people into those hallways to make new decisions about our democracy, to make a better union for all. We still have a long way to go to live the American dream. But I can tell you this, it cannot happen without a group of people by 2050 who will be your minority majority. So tonight, as you think more about your giving, as you're driving home and maybe considering engaging in this organization, I will remind you of this too. There's a similar organization run by the Koch brothers right now. Now, I don't want to get political, and I won't. I'm going to leave that where it is, but I want you to think about that.
Right. Tell the truth.
That where are our future policy specialists, advisors coming from when others are ensuring
Their future.
that the people in their camp will be there? We have to ensure that ours are there too. We must inspire the new gate crashers for democracy. Have a good evening.